I'm proud to announce that today's sponsor is none other than Rotor Riot themselves, the company for which Chad Nowak flew for quite a while. You can use the discount code ROTORROLLINS in order to get 10% off any Hypetrain motor purchase. Use it. Love it. Go get yourself some motors. I know that I did. And to tell you about your motors today, let's listen to Johnny. Johnny, tell us about what today's motor is.
The Rotor Riot Hypetrain Freestyle motor was the first official product designed by Rotor Riot team members, including Chad Nowak. The motor now features the second generation Hypetrain bell, which is made from aircraft grade 7075 aluminum and has been reinforced, taking durability to the next level. The Hypetrain Freestyle is sure to stand out with the customized orange colored stator and silver coated windings, altogether a fusion of great design and technology. As far as performance, the Hypetrain Freestyle motor is built with a 2306 stator, which makes the motor very powerful and smooth, and gives it more responsiveness in the lower end of the throttle curve. Every aspect of the motor has been designed to achieve optimal efficiency, and the windings have been specified to produce a balanced 2450 kV, which makes the Hypetrain Freestyle suitable for a wide variety of propeller and battery combinations. As with all Hypetrain motors, the open bottom base optimizes the flow of air through the stator to prevent overheating, and also saves weight by removing excess material. The revolutionary 16 by 16 millimeter mounting screw pattern, originally introduced with the Hypetrain Freestyle motors, opens up new design possibilities while still maintaining backward compatibility with legacy frames. Moreover, the bell is held in place with a small screw rather than a C-clip, enabling easy bell replacements.
Have you ever wondered what Chad Nowak, also known as Finalglideaus, thinks about Chad Kapper? You get to find out now. I hope you enjoy it.
What were the relationships like between you and the other guys on the show, between you and Carlos and you and Tommy and even you and Capper?
So the rest of the Rotor Riot guys like Tommy and Carlos, perfect. Absolutely adore Tommy. Adore Carlos. I still talk to him every once in a while and so forth. Carlos, I mean, you can't say a bad thing about Carlos. He's Shabu.
Right.
Amazing guy. Really got his shit together. He knows what he wants, and he's happy in life. He's got an amazing partner. He's got an amazing job, and just great guy. I would never say I was massively close friends with him because he's just a different lifestyle. But love the guy to death. And any time that I happen to be in Los Angeles, he's going to be someone that I'm going to go, hey, let's go and have dinner together. Good to catch up, see how you are. Last time I was in Los Angeles, I actually went to invited me over to DreamWorks and spent a day at DreamWorks, and we were looking at the new Trolls movie that they're making, and it's just awesome. Awesome place he works. Tommy, I could not respect enough. I was actually chatting with Tommy this morning. Got a lot of time for the guy. He's one of the Tommy and Carlos are just two of those just generally nice guys. They know how to stay out of drama. They've got a good head on their shoulders. Can't say a bad thing about them. Out of the group, I probably got along best with Tommy. We clicked with one another because I'd had my midlife crisis, and I wanted to get out, and I wanted to go to nightclubs, I wanted to party, I wanted to dance. Carlos isn't into that. Steele always wanted to stay home and just brush his mustache and just look in the mirror about how gorgeous he was. But Tommy, being an ex-DJ, he's like, let's get out, let's go have some fun. Right. So always had a great time with Tommy. He was just right down. Like, me and Steele started off as good friends. I think we're just two different types of people. I think there's possibly a bit of an age gap there as well. Chad Kapper is it's an interesting one, and I really have to pause before I say anything because I don't want to sound negative because I still respect the guy for he's got so many talents, and he's also helped me in so many areas, and personally as well as professionally and all that sort of stuff. But at the same time, I don't know. Would I class us as friends? Probably not. We talk every once in a while. I think we've just had interactions that have just gone, okay, cool. and leave it at that. I don't hate you, but we're just going to go our separate ways. And I don't like seeing like I see the occasional bit of trolling out there that's going straight at Kappa and all that sort of stuff. And I don't like seeing that. Like I will respond to stuff where I see people post stuff which is content relating to me, and then go, sorry, I totally disagree with that. Or if it's something to do with me and I'm like, I'm still pissed about that and so forth. But I think the problem is a lot of people, if you have a disagreement with someone, the world has turned into a very black and white situation where you're either a friend or I hate your guts and I want to see you dead. And there's no gray area, and I hate that. I still respect the guy. Would I call him a friend? Probably not. Would I help him if he was in need? Yeah, because he's not a bad person. I think he's a good person. I think he makes some bad choices, and I think his directions and the way that he talks, I think he's a bit misguided, and where he's like, I want to help these people, and I'm going, no, you want to get rich, and by helping those people will help you get rich. But yeah, still really respect the guy, what he did in flight test and so forth, for starting that. I wouldn't be where I am today without his involvement. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people need to understand in life, not just in FPV, but we'll talk about FPV because that's the subject matter.
Sure.
Like Scott Refsland, that guy tried to stab me in the back and tried to dob me into the tax department when I wasn't towing the line, all that sort of stuff. It's a pretty shady character when you weren't towing the line. I wouldn't go near the guy with a 20-foot barging pole because of the things that he did to me, but I still respect the guy, and I still will put out there, he's the guy that gave me my chance. He's the guy that started up the drone nationals, and only a few thousand people would know my name if it wasn't for him. And the same thing goes for all of those people out there, Chad Kapper included, and he was a big involvement in that. And I've got nothing but thanks for him for that. That said, there's the side of things of the reasons why he did it, which I think are more selfish than what he makes it out to be. And in the conversations that I've had with Chad, and we talked about the whole expectation things and being friends and things like that, I learned that with Steele. And I said my biggest gripe with Kappa was the same thing about friendship, but it was the dishonesty part of it, where Steele never pretended like he was like my friend first up and foremost, going to make business. And I didn't see that, where Chad Kapper was. He's the kind of guy, he's a smooth talker. He sells you a dream, and I'm doing this for you. I want to make you big, and I want to help you, and I'm doing that, and then gives you all this life advice to help you. Meanwhile, he acts like he's your friend, but treats you like a business. And as far as I've never been in a situation where you can have those two combined. They have to be separated because it just doesn't work long term. And that was always that when we talked about it, that was probably my biggest beef with him. The fact that that he acted like my friend but treated me like a business. Now it's also my fault because I'm not a businessman. I was naive enough to take all this in and go yep, just take it on as gospel and not sign any contracts and things like that. Okay, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Is there a specific thing that happened that led you to that particular summation of his character? Because it sounds like it and if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it sounds like there's something very specific that you're thinking about, and I'm curious if you would feel comfortable talking about it.
I really do try not to get specifics out there, and I guess because of your interview style is probably the only reason why I'm even talking about this, because I'm a firm believer of a lot of this stuff is personal. and
Okay.
a lot of it should stay personal, because
Okay.
otherwise there's just more bickering. And I don't want to bring people like Chad Kapper down any more than I already have.
Okay.
And because I'm like, okay, if I, I hope that Rotor Riot becomes successful. I don't want to see, like, there's so many people out there that are like, F Rotor Riot
Right.
and let it burn to the
A
ground, all
whole
that
a
sort of
whole
stuff.
Facebook group dedicated to it, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, and I jumped on there, and I jumped on the hate bandwagon when I was in a down moment as well. I mean, I've been there, but I left all that because it's just there's only one way that goes. And yeah, I mean, look, if they can make Rotor Riot successful, great. Um, I don't like seeing something that I helped build. Like I don't like seeing a ship that I helped build sink.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's a bit more comforting to watch it sink from dry land, but it's
Hmm.
still not nice. So look, if they can be successful, it's great, and more power to them. I don't agree with a lot of the business decisions, but hey, that's why I left.
Right.
That's why I went. I don't agree with this, but you're the owner. Uh, you're the one that makes all the decisions. So if I don't like it, leave. And that's why I left. Now I could sit there and bitch about how I should have this and I should have that. They're all my decisions.
Hmm.
Um, so so be it. And you can't live in the past and live all bitter. And that's why I'm grateful for everything that I've gained from this. I've learned so much about myself, and I've become so much of a better, wiser, smarter um, person because of this. And that now the way that I do business, I, I'm not immune to screw ups, but I know how to go into business now, and it's my experiences that have given me that. You got to get them somehow.
Yeah. So I've got two questions for you to finish this out. One of them, well, this first one is, if you had to do it all over again, is there any one thing or group of things that you think you would do differently?
Hmm. I'm sure there's the odd outburst here or there that, and like once again, I so much has happened
Sure.
that
It's a big span of time.
okay, yeah, okay, I'll give you one thing because this is the one thing that Chad Kapper constantly brings up when we talk,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll own it every single day. Um, I can't remember whether it was after I had won the drone nationals, the second one, the freestyle,
Sure.
and I got a massive amount of hate of like, you shouldn't have won this, Pilot X should have won this, and I'd thrown my trophy in the bin and just walked off, and just that was when I went, I can't do competitions anymore. This is stupid. I'm doing this for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at a low state, and someone just said something personal about my family, and my response was something along those, "Why don't you die? Why don't you just go away and die?" And like and whatever they said, it was an unnecessary comment.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of those times. And Chad Kapper quite rightfully brings that up whenever I say, "Look at what this person said." And okay, cool. Thanks for bringing it up again. But yeah, it's little things like that. And I always like to involve myself in the community and defend the little guy and all that sort of stuff. And you always get in those sort of arguments and things like that. As for most things, honestly, even the stuff that didn't go my way or my screw ups, no, because they've turned me into the person that I am today. Otherwise, I wouldn't have learnt those lessons. All of those bad things that happen to you are lessons to help you, to build you and improve
Mm-hmm.
you as a person. You don't improve from just constantly being successful. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you learn from your mistakes, and the successes are there for you to have that breather, to give you that little bit of, okay, cool, appreciate what's you around you. But it's the failures that you have that give you the perspective to go, okay, learn a little bit now. So no, I wouldn't change a thing. The last 3 years, good and bad, amazing. I got to, like I said, have a painful midlife crisis. I got to visit 30 plus countries in 2.5 years. I got to go to locations that most would only dream of. I got to have experiences that most would only dream of. I got to meet so many people from all walks of life, experience cultures, food, learn about business, language barriers. I learned how to take risks. When I first started on this journey, I wasn't a risk taker. I just do things. And I remember I hadn't touched alcohol for, I don't know, 5 or 7 years. I'm not an alcohol person. And my friend Mark Akuyo, and most people know me hanging around me. He said, okay, when you go to Hawaii, Tony's going to offer you a drink. For God's sake, would you take it? I'm like, why? He said, because you got to take a risk. And I thought about it. And I sat down and I went, you know what? Okay, this is my mantra for this trip. My mantra is, so long as my safety isn't as at risk, if someone asks you to do something risky, say yes. Say yes every single time. And that's where I ended up in places having to deal with park rangers getting stuck into me and being in the middle of nowhere, going to Chernobyl where half the country's radioactive and the other half of the country's at war, being in the middle of China by myself, not speaking any of their languages, just crazy stuff that the old me would never have gone anywhere near. Small things, big things. And I'm so grateful for that because it's made me realize that a bit of risk here and there is not a problem. And if you succeed, great, then you can enjoy that success. But if you fail, then you can learn something from it. And it's been a big thing of mine. And yeah, I'd still have that. Well, I wouldn't call it a boring old life, but a very narrow-minded life until I decided, you know what, screw it, I'm going to quit my job and just go travel the world, not knowing where I'm going to make money. And at the end of all that, of traveling the world with the intention of living over in America, trying to find another life, another relationship, all that sort of stuff, and a new avenue of life, I ended up back at home, found the love of my life, 20 minutes away from where I live, flying drones commercially, doing what I'm passionate about, and I'm happy. Like I'm like just genuinely calm and happy. And it's funny because you just keep on pushing, keep on trying, keep on taking risks. You'll land on your feet eventually. People keep on saying, and it seems to be ringing true so far.
Well, thank you. You took my last question. You answered it, which was what are you doing now and what's next?
Yep. I guess now I'm working for a commercial drone company, and I teach people to get commercial drone licenses. I do drone maintenance. I do contract work for companies. We work with a lot of the big mining organizations here doing surveying work, things like that. So it's varied. And once again, the same sort of thing. If a new opportunity arises, I say yes, I give it a go. And it's really interesting. I enjoy the personal aspect of actually teaching people to fly, because a lot of the whole licensing is it's all paperwork and making sure you've ticked the right boxes, where the courses I run, because of my experience, I'm not just going to turn you into a drone operator. I'm going to turn you into a pilot.
There you go.
Like we don't teach people to fly. Here's the thing. When we started back in 2012, 2013, a Flame Wheel 450 with a DJI NASA on it was the thing. It was the shiznit. That's what it was. Well, I am now teaching people to fly on a DJI Flame Wheel with a NASA on it.
That's awesome.
That's what I'm teaching them to fly on it, because the problem with things like Phantoms and things like that, you can't turn off all of the sensors, so you never actually fly. You just place it in the sky. So It's come full circle. I'm sitting there, I'm doing practical flying, and I'm teaching these people to fly an aircraft which it flies like crap, but it's supposed to fly like crap. You actually have to fly it. And the real rewarding thing after this is them coming over and shaking my hand at the end of the course and then asking for links where to buy stuff so that they can build a basic line of sight drone or even FPV drone, so they can go home and practice how to learn to fly, so that way when they lose their GPS lock on their Phantom, they can bring it back.
Yeah.
And that's kind of satisfying, because I'm not just teaching a bunch of operators, I'm teaching a bunch of pilots, and the regulators don't care about that. So I'm doing my little bit, and that's kind of satisfying to do that. That's
pretty awesome. I learned my first drone was a DJI Flame Wheel with a KK2. It wasn't the NASA, but it was a KK2. So I have it's sitting around here somewhere. I have a deep love for that particular piece of equipment.
I had a KK 2.5, so I had one up on you there.
Oh man, yeah, you were living the big life. Well, thank you, Chad. Where can people find you if they wanna find you? Where can are you active on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter?
I'm kind of active on social media. I'm active on Facebook. You can follow me, but I think I've already got my 5,000 friend quota thing from my big famous days.
Right.
So I stopped accepting friend requests a long time ago. You can follow me on Instagram. I do posts on there. It's everything from personal stuff to drones to whatever. It's not specific. I haven't posted anything on my
YouTube.
On my YouTube in a very long time, but I actually intend to fix that. So I've got in last year I didn't do anything. I just sat at home feeling depressed about myself and everything. And this year I was like, you know what? I've got to do something. I've got to find something that interests me. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to do FPV videos. I don't fly that much FPV, and I never record. So I may do that. But I've spent a decent amount of money into a sim pit, so I've got. I've always loved simulators and things like that. And I know Tyler Brennan spoke about it, a simulator called DCS. So I've actually built a cockpit that is in the same dimensions as an F-18, and I spent like $2,000 on joystick and throttle and rudder and like $5,000 on a computer, and now I've got virtual reality headset. So I was just going to do a couple of videos on how I actually put it together and building my first gaming PC, because I'm an Apple user. So
yeah.
I guess I wanted to. This is the journey of, if you're a nobody that knows nothing about this, these are the steps you got to go through. And then I still love doing videography, so I'll probably go and do some cinematic stuff with DCS, because it's such a beautiful a program to use. So yeah, there may be some FPV related stuff in there, but I'm not going to promise anything.
Okay. Well, thank you. I really appreciate you coming on. This was really, really good, and definitely.
I'm happy to chat.
Yeah, it definitely checks one of my boxes. I've always wanted to talk to you, so thank you.
No worries. Like I said, I'm just surprised that anyone actually wants to listen to me flapping my lips these days. So, it's been good chatting.
Hearing that Chad Nowak respects but does not consider Chad Kapper a friend is an interesting perspective. And hearing that there is not a lot of animosity and that Chad Nowak would not take anything back is an interesting perspective, considering how the drone community views their interaction. In the next episode, we get to hear about Chad Nowak's origin story. How did he get into FPV? Where did it come from? And how long did he spend flying just line of sight before he actually put on the goggles? I'd like to take a moment to thank Rotor Riot. Rotor Riot has been providing awesome content since 2016, since the days of this guy right here. And they continue to provide awesome content now. You can get 10% off any Hypetrain motor purchase in the store, linked in the description below, using the code RotorRollins. I'd like to thank Rotor Riot for sponsoring the episode, and I'd also like to thank my patrons. My patrons are valued members of the community. They provide insight and guidance into how this channel should be run. They get a voice in how we're going to do things. They also get a weekly audio-only version of all of the episodes cut together so that they can listen to it on the day that it releases. If you'd like to become a Patreon, or if you'd like to check out Rotor Riot, go to the description below and you can find links for both of those there. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.